all-new Sports Visions with Dale Williams and DJ Jones, your 1980 national champions, 1980 and 81 SEC champions, too damn good dogs.
Welcome to the all-new Sports Visions. I'm DJ Jones alongside my good friend and traveling partner, Dale Williams. How are you, sir?
What's up, player?
Man, you're looking mighty spiffy there, fella.
Well, you know, DJ, I knew you were going to have yours on, man, so I'm trying to keep up with you, player.
All right, coming up in just a little bit, we'll have an opportunity to talk about the icon himself. Chipper Jones made it to the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame.
Well-deserved, DJ, 97%.
Of the votes. That's right. Big. That's huge. We also have a lot to talk about because the Falcons are several weeks into, several days into training camp, and they had an opportunity to practice in Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
That was a great fan appreciation piece, DJ. Great job by the PR department with the Atlanta Falcons, but that's a big deal, player.
And we'll go into our archives and pull out where are they now. We have a series of, very, very, I guess, important folks in the community that are doing big things, but you know what? They were once upon a time great athletes here.
And they're still active, DJ.
Very active. All that and more coming up next on Sports Vision.
If you're even thinking about a new car, you've got to come to Headquarter Nissan.
Because right now, you can get the lowest payments of the year.
New Sentras from just $129 a month.
Altimas from just $159 a month.
And Rogues from just $169 a month. And all backed by our value plan featuring a lifetime warranty with an unlimited amount of time and miles and more. Lease for less. Columbus is a Nissan town.
E&S Men's Clothing Warehouse has been your most trusted name in men's fashion for more than 50 years. We've offered the area's best selection of top quality, name brand suits, accessories, and casual wear at the most competitive prices around. Customer service is our top priority. We're the professionals generations have trusted for the best quality and absolutely the best deals. We are E&S Men's Clothing Warehouse. We are simply the best.
Hello, everybody. I'm DJ Jones. You might know me from my athletic career at Carver High School, University of Georgia, or my sports broadcasting career. I know a lot of people, but when it comes to an attorney I trust, I call Forrest B. Johnson.
I'm Forrest Johnson of Forrest B. Johnson & Associates. And I want to let you know how proud we are to be a part of your community, a part of the Columbus community and the Phoenix, Alabama community. Consider us first. When you or any member of your family has been involved in an automobile accident, remember, car wreck, get a check.
Call now, 706-223-5380. Call now. And welcome back to Sports Visions, Dale. It's now time for our Atlanta Braves report, and I know that the Braves had a difficult time with the Los Angeles Dodgers. However, they, of course, the fourth and final game was almost a no-hitter, almost a perfect game.
Almost a perfect game for a non-perfect series with the Dodgers. I mean, the Braves couldn't get it over the hump, couldn't get the timely hit, but really just to win that game, Sean Newcomb did a great job. Good left-handed pitcher, but I really like to applaud the Braves, DJ, for not selling out their whole program and all the young kids by trying to go out and get a free agent, because, again, that would have put them right back in the same situation. But I think they got good things that are going to happen for the Braves, DJ.
And definitely, indeed. And Sean Newcomb, of course, the fourth no-hit, almost, it would have been the fourth no-hitter in the history of the organization. But, again, just a great performance. And you know what? The Braves, in the last 18 games, Dale, I think the statistic has been they lost 12 out of the last 18, which means it's a great thing that they did get the win in and get themselves back into their winning ways.
You know, even though they're losing, DJ, they're still a game and a half back of the Phillies, and really, that's not too bad. I mean, really, when you watch them every night, night in and night out, you think that they're doing bad, but really they're still right there at 1.5 games behind the Phillies, and thank God of that, because really, I think they're going to get hot again, DJ.
Well, one thing is for sure, the Braves might have been having problems winning ball games, but they definitely had a big win. Of course, Chipper Jones, the greatest Braves of all time, or one of the greatest Braves of all time, because I got some Hank Aaron fans out there that's going to differ with that. But, again, had the opportunity to go into the Hall of Fame at Cooperstown up in New York, and you know what, I can remember when, Chipper Jones was just coming into the league, drafted in number one for the Braves in 1990, called up to the big leagues in 92, Dale, and I was with Mizuno at the time.
That's right.
We're talking about a young man. I had the opportunity to watch him, and now he's going in as one of the most prolific switch hitters of all time in baseball.
When you start talking about switch hitters, you start talking about Rod Carew, the Pete Rose, but now you got to include Chipper Jones because he was very consistent, almost having 3,000 career hits, almost hitting 400 home runs. Who does that? But he had a lifetime average of 313, which is great.
A tremendous athlete indeed, and for those of you who remember Chipper Jones, he also had an opportunity to play football. He was an outstanding football player down in Florida, and I'm glad that he chose baseball because he has been with the Braves nearly 2 decades. And again, having an opportunity to play with one club all that time, he had some ups and some downs. He had more ups than downs, but the Braves stuck with him, and that's what came out in his speech.
Really the good thing about him on the Bobby Cox piece, staying with one team that length of time, his father influence with him, man, that was the biggest thing that came. I felt in his speech. But one of the biggest things, DJ, that I did know, how he learned how to switch hit. And his dad, he watched the game. Watch what I say. He watched the game on radio. And he know whatever batter came up, he had to go left hand or he had to go right hand, which is a great opportunity to, again, emulate who you see or what you think you see. So he did a great job of doing that, but he is definitely one of the best switch hitters ever in baseball.
Absolutely. And again, when you talk about Chipper and again, what he means to the Atlanta Braves, they keep him around. Of course, he goes to spring training. He and Andrew Jones as, I guess, a special assistant or hitting instructor, these guys. But to have these iconic figures, especially Chipper, with all of these young Braves in camp, again, a lot of those guys are gone down to 1A and AA and some in AAA. But to have a Chipper Jones, one of the all-time great, not just Braves players, but one of the all-time great baseball players in Major League Baseball history, still young enough and still relevant enough to coach and to understand the issues that kids have, whether they be on the road or away from home for the first time, to share his experience with them. That you have to credit. That's the stuff you don't see, when you're talking about developing a player.
When you start talking about development of a player, DJ, with all those things you said, being good in the community, being a good baseball player, period, but having him in the community piece, which he always did a lot of charitable stuff, but really no problems in the dugout. His teammates love him. Basically, that tells you everything. When your teammates love you, that tells you what kind of a player he is, and Chipper definitely was a good teammate.
Congratulations, Chipper Jones, one of the all-time Braves greats, one of the all-time baseball greats.
That's right.
We'll be right back after this.
Honey, what are you doing?
Watching a cow.
Oh, what's it doing?
Impressions.
Power up your morning with a new 300-calorie egg white grill.
And welcome back to Sports Vision. I'm joined by Devin Henry of Headquarters Nissan. Devin, talk to me about your pre-owned vehicles.
Let me tell you about the pre-owned vehicle. We got a bunch of them. All right, we got all kind of brand in our dealership, in our inventory. But I just want to talk about this morning about the pre-owned certified program that we have here at Headquarters Nissan. Man, listen, you can get a car anywhere, but a pre-owned certified car is a new car with just additional warranty, with a program that allow you to feel confident that if you buy this car, you're pretty much getting a new car. And you got some incentives like the interest rate that you will get on a pre-owned certified car versus a regular used car. You got 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty on top of the manufacturer warranty that comes with the vehicle. So we got this program right here is for someone that say, hey, you got a young teenager, you want to send off to college, and you want to feel confident that you're getting a vehicle that's gonna they're gonna have warranty and a roadside assistant and stuff like that. Pre-owned certified is the way to go.
So you get a deal?
You get a deal. Everybody get a deal at Headquarters Nissan. Come where we give out the deals in pre-owned certified cars.
You're gonna do great.
Thanks, Dad.
Break a leg.
Affleck?
Not that kind of break.
Oh, that had to hurt. Affleck?
Not that kind of hurt. Yeah, Affleck paid us cash in just one day to help with our car payments and mortgage.
Affleck!
Perfect timing! See how Affleck helps cover everyday expenses at Affleck.com.
And welcome back to Sports Visions, Dale. Right after we, I guess, just got finished with our Braves report, it's only proper that we do our Falcons report. And this is the first Falcons report of the season, and I'm proud to say that this Falcon report is sponsored by Forrest B. Johnson and Associates.
Oh, great.
So now that the Braves, or at least the Falcons, go into the Dome, 60,000 fans selling tickets at $5 a pop, and that was a tremendous success on Saturday.
That was big, DJ, and really just to see the Dome opening up, because it stayed closed all last year. That was a good look, but even a better look was to have the fans there, the intense fans watching football practice in pads. I think really they probably sold some extra season tickets, DJ, but I think one of the biggest things that they showed people, and hats off to Arthur Blank, is that it is definitely a fan-friendly atmosphere.
You know, one thing is for sure is that I couldn't promise you this, but I'm sure that it was a lot of tailgating going on outside because, again, those folks came into that doggone stadium with all of that hype. But, you know, a Falcon experience starts several hours before the game at tailgates.
That's right, you know, around the stadium, and I think they got new tailgate areas, DJ. But even with the prices being the way that they are at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, they probably got in early, sat down, got to tour the Mercedes-Benz Stadium without the intensity of being a game day. I think they did a good job, but at the same time, DJ, I bet you had a lot of satisfied customers there.
You just hit something on the head, though, and I don't know for a fact, but that's a good question for us to ask. I mean, you know, with Arthur Blank and his staff slashing the concession prices, making it very reasonable to go in and feed your family, I wonder how much is that cut into actual tailgating, because we see an awful lot of folks hanging out in the areas there, in the concession areas. And I'm wondering, did that take away from some of the tailgating?
I don't think it did, DJ. I think really just being Mercedes-Benz Stadium being built right there, I think that may have taken away a little bit of the tailgating. But for those people who don't get the tickets or don't have the ticket, tailgating is premium for an Atlanta Falcons fan. And you know that because really now with all the restaurants, with the cost of the food and the concessions inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium, people don't worry about tailgating now. They just want to get in the game a little early, and then they're going to turn up when they get in the stadium.
Speaking of the game, actually, the practice, it was a great practice for everybody. Of course, we're in training camp, so we got a ton of roster of 80, 90 players there. So folks got a chance to kind of check out everybody. Justin Crawford, the former Hardaway High School running back, is signed with the Falcons as a free agent. Folks got a chance to see him as well. But you know what? Julio was there, and that's what everybody wanted to make sure. Julio Jones, signed, sealed, and delivered. I guess you could say that, but he's there in camp working hard and looking forward to an even more explosive offense when you consider, Sanu, Julio, Ridley, and the two running backs, Freeman and
Tevin
Coleman. And it is just, this is, and the offensive line has been shored up to keep Matt Ryan clean, as we like to say. That means that keeps the defensive lineman off of him. But everybody's talking about and ranting and raving about this explosive Atlanta Falcon offense.
You know, DJ, they've been explosive for the last 4 years. I think really getting back to what they do well, scoring in the red zone is going to be premium for these guys. I think really, like you said, soaring up. The offensive line is going to be good to protect Matt Ryan. But the biggest thing about it is that when they get in that red zone, being able to score, they're explosive. They got weapons all over the place, from the newly acquired Kevin Ridley to Julio, of course, Sanu, the Tevin Coleman piece. I saw them in a lot of different sets, DJ, on tailgates and not tailgate, but on NFL Network. They're spreading out. They putting nobody in the backfield. They don't put the ball in there in the red zone.
Well, Steve Sarkisian, the offensive coordinator in his second year, he has to be creative. He has to have the vision to understand. He has a lot of weapons, and there's no way in the world that anybody should stop this offense. Now, what's exciting to me is the defense has stepped up. Of course, you got those younger players that have been doing well, but you got people like Jones and Neal. And again, these kids, they are now in their second and third year. And this defense, they've gone out. Of course, Dan Quinn is the defensive mind, of course, as a head coach. But I'm looking for just a total turnaround on the defensive side.
Well, the key word, DJ, on defense is attack. And you know Dan Quinn loves to attack. Even when they get the lead, I want them to attack, because the Falcons have a bad habit of when they do get the lead, they stop attacking and they start preventing, rushing 3, dropping 8. I don't even want to hear that this year. Hit the quarterback and hit him.
Another important fact that, they went from 20th in the league on defense to number 8 last year. And again, this is all of these returning players. got to make them that much better.
It got to be. And everybody, and then good thing, just from an overall standpoint, DJ, they've done, Thomas Dimitrov, and they've done a great job signing and sealing most of these big-time players. Devontae Freeman, he's solid. His contract's solid. Matt Ryan, he's solid. Going to work on Julio. And when you start talking about Bruce Matthews' piece, they just soared him up with a big contract. You got your line together that's going to play together. They in good shape, DJ, to make a run, and really, wouldn't it be just great for the Atlanta Falcons to be playing in the Super Bowl in Mercedes-Benz Stadium?
It's already happened, son. You just spoke it. I expect to be there. Of course, that I expect my Atlanta Falcons to be there. But just for you folks to know that Julio Jones, what was the deal, the caper? Actually, they gave Julio Jones something almost close to about $3 million.
That's right.
They're going to be able to put in his pocketbook right now this year with the promise of renegotiating his deal in next year in 2019.
Now, see, that's what you call a spirit of resolution. Arthur Blank wanted to do whatever he had to do to resolve this situation now. They want to take away what they were working on, which is the Super Bowl. And I think really that's, as an owner, that was a big-time move.
The last thing I want to say, Dale, is that everybody's been talking about this doggone the roof and the dome opening and closing. You know what? They have it. They had it opening and closed it. 8 minutes it takes to completely open it and 8 minutes to close it. So, again, you can go from, 60, 68, 70 degrees in air conditioning to 100 and humid in a matter of 8 minutes.
And I wonder who's going to determine whether they're going to play with it open or closed during the game. And, even when they play the kickoff classic against Auburn and Washington, who would determine whether it's going to be open or closed deal? That's a question we need to ask.
It's a question, but I tell you what, as a fan, as a person in the media, I tell you that I'm going to take the air conditioning over anything that's got to do with this heat in the down here. And, of course, here in the late summer, early fall.
Well, DJ, one of the best things that you can hear when you go in Mercedes-Benz Stadium is that air conditioning. That's the first thing you hear. They got an air conditioning in that place.
All right, coming up in a little bit. Don't go anywhere. We have Where Are They Now, one of our special features. We'll be right back.
This is Academy Sports and Outdoors. We offer a huge sports and outdoors selection of top name brand gear like you've never seen. All at low prices like you've never seen. Because we're a sports and outdoor store like you've never seen. Until now. Now open in Columbus. Academy Sports and Outdoors. For all for less.
Building wealth is an innate desire we all possess. Whether you're raising a family, running a business, or starting a career, the best commitment you can possibly make today is to build wealth for your future. Now, more than ever, our innovation teamed with a personal approach to building wealth is the win we both are striving for. Trust in our commitment to help get you there. Citizens Trust Bank, a relationship you can bank on. Member FDIC.
And welcome back to Sports Visions, and we're back with Bruce Huff in our segment of Where Are They Now? And Bruce, what are you doing right now? Tell everybody what you're doing right now.
I am personally City Council representative for District 3 in Columbus, Georgia. I'm vice president at the Charles E. Huff's International Funeral Home, where I work side by side with my brother Charles. And it has been a long journey to this point. I have taken time to volunteer within the Columbus, Georgia area for the past 30 years or so. And back in 1990, I received a call about the political side of life to run for state senate or the state house. And those seats now are held by State Representative Carolyn Hughley and State Senator Ed Harbison. I had a call back then before they were talked to about running for the seat to choose one. And my daddy sat me down and told me I was not ready. I was basically too young, didn't have anything, and I needed to go out and work for a while because I would be gullible to all of the nuances of the world and yachts and plane trips and things of that nature. So he said, you're too young for this. So he said basically to me, if it was meant to be, it will be. So now he died 2 years later. I kept working, doing what I do. I worked with the Teen Achievers at Columbus State University for about 20 years. I worked with Little League Baseball here in Columbus for about 5 years as president. I've always been around the Little Leagues with my kids, playing all the sports here in town. So 20 years later, someone came to me about the political side of life and asked me, had I ever thought about being on city council? And at that point, I got involved, and that's where I am now with that part. My funeral home side, I ran from it for probably 15 years. I came back. I didn't want to go back to any more schools. I was a graduate of Florida State University. I told my dad, that's enough school. That's enough. So I did my apprenticeship for 2 years. I worked in the insurance industry, was married and divorced after 6 years, no children, and was faced with bills as an individual. So I went to work for TSYS as a project analyst for 2 years. And at that time, my dad died, so I came back into the business with my brother. And in 1995, I had to go back to school for a year, which out of all the years, they say I chose the only year that they had over 300 exams for us to take that year. So I got through that, got state certified and nationally certified in 1996. And I've been right there with my brother at the funeral home since then. So the combination of the funeral home and city council has been a bit much, but publicly I'd like to thank my brother, Charles, because he's taken a lot of the pressure off me. I'm sure I put a lot of pressure on him from a lot of the meetings and things that I have to attend from time to time. But it's been rewarding. I think a lot of the people don't understand the pressures. There's certain things we can't do, but we do our best trying to get it done. Certain things are private property, certain things are city property, and the ordinances and things of that nature.
Well, you know, knowing your family and knowing all the community service that Mr. Huff did and your mom did and what Charles do now, you know, you all have always been involved in the community. And it's kind of funny that you're in politics because basically it seemed like you were being groomed and you didn't even know you were being groomed to be in politics. Even though your dad told you you weren't ready yet, but I could see, and I just knowing the family, I could see that he was grooming you for that time. Is one question, if you knew some of the things that you know now, back then, what would you have changed back then? Or did you have any regrets growing up? Or what do you want, what you wish you could do right now that you didn't know that you could do?
I think basically taking the wisdom that my dad and mother tried to give me at an early age, it didn't sink in until my daddy died, I was 35 years old. And at that point, I started to understand some of the things he was trying to get across to me. You know, as a youngster, you always feel that you know it all. It's a new time. It's a new day. That's the old way of doing things. There's so many things I do today the same as my dad. It works. He used to say, you know, if the wheel's not broken, don't fix it. You know, don't create a new wheel. Don't create a new way of doing things. But in the wisdom side, my dad died in '92, my mom in 2000. And when my mother passed, my brothers and I got together. We left the house and we went to a restaurant and got us a little back space and we talked. And the conversation was, we were the little birds in the nest, and this is it. Nobody cares about you like your family, like your parents. So we are being pushed out of the nest, and you can fly or you can bump the ground. No choices. We got to go ahead. We got to move ahead. So in a lot of the lessons, my dad was a very wise man, as you well know. He spent a lot of time with a lot of people. He worked in the backgrounds with the civil rights and everything when Martin Luther King was coming through. My mother had basically probably one of the first night schools at our house to try to get people their GED and things of that nature. She helped a lot of girls get through school because back then, being pregnant, they put you out of school. So she worked with some of the ladies to teach them how to keep their weight down and how to hide it so they would make graduation and get through school to move to the next level. And they went on to become teachers and everything else in the city. But it's been a lot of looking back to say, you know, if I had known about agents, would I have had a better shot at playing baseball? I went to camp with the Texas Rangers. I went 6 for 12 the first week, 3 out of 4 stolen bases, 3 assists. I only struck out one time, and I was the first one to get a pink slip to go home. So it didn't make sense to me. The only explanation was I was too old. So I was 22 years old, and I was too old. So when you look back at it, my daddy told me that I may never understand why, but looking at the fact that I had a minor ankle injury in college, he felt that one day maybe I would become the one that had to be drug dependent because they had put good drugs in me for painkillers to get through a pro career. And after that, I was going to have to figure out how to pay for it and keep the pain down. And looking back now, you know, he said, you may never get the right answer, but that's what I see. Maybe I was saved from something that I didn't see coming. Talent-wise, I had the talent, but life-wise, as far as the life lessons, sometimes it's just better to move on. I played semi-pro ball in Atlanta with the Yankees for a couple of years, and I came home and played in the old Georgia-Alabama League. And it was fun. It was fun, yeah.
Where are they now? Bruce Huff, now you know. We'll be right back. Sports Vision, sponsored by Aflac, Chick-fil-A, Mel and Abe's, Styles by Denise, Jordan Girls, Taylor Funeral Home, Forrest B. Johnson and Associates, State Farm, Jimmy Watts Agency, and Dr. Jamie Winchester.
Hello, everybody. I'm DJ Jones. You might know me from my athletic career at Carver High School, University of Georgia, or my sports broadcasting career. I know a lot of people. But when it comes to an attorney I trust, I call Forrest B. Johnson.
I'm Forrest Johnson of Forrest B. Johnson and Associates. I want to let you know how proud we are to be a part of your community, a part of the Columbus community and the Phoenix, Alabama community. Consider us first. When you or any member of your family has been involved in an automobile accident, remember, car wreck, get a check.
Call now, 706-223-5380.
Call now.
And welcome back to today's final segment of Sports Vision's Dale. I tell you, you know what, just a terrific week for the Atlanta Braves. Chipper Jones, you know what, I've been a big fan of Chipper. Like I said, I had the opportunity to work in the sporting goods industry for Mizuno back when Chipper first came into the league, and just to see his growth and right before my eyes, man, I really feel great. And I don't want to age myself, but to see, a young man come into the league as a teenager and end up in Cooperstown in the Hall of Fame, and knowing that I had this opportunity to see him all those 2 decades, it really makes me feel good. I mean, and Chipper Jones, well deserving, again, what, 97%? That's huge, DJ. Of the writers who voted this guy in, it was like, unanimous, so that's a good deal. And speaking of Hall of Fames, DJ, we got a Hall of Fame inductions today with, we got the good boy Terrell Owens, who will be in Chattanooga doing his thing. But, Ray Lewis is good to see. Randy Moss, DJ. Yes. It's great to see. Brian Urlacher, Brian Dawkins, Jerry Kramer, the old-time Jerry Green Kramer. Bay Packer. And, Robert Brazile, and the best general manager that's ever been out there is Bobby Beathard of Washington Redskins. So it's going to be a very interesting week, but really I like sitting down on Saturday watching the Hall of Fame inductees. Absolutely. And again, Canton, Canton, Ohio is a special place, and obviously preseason football kicks off and makes it official for the NFL football season. And they built a new stadium, DJ, just for this, the Thomas Benson Stadium, a new stadium that they're going to feature also. And, for the Hall of Fame games this week and all the other teams getting ready to play next week, it is officially football season. And with that said, be sure to tune into the all-new Sports Visions radio show. We're on 92.1, and you can stream us live at sportsvisionsradio.com. Well, that's going to do it for all the time we have for today's show. For Dale Williams, I'm DJ Jones, reminding you to keep your eye on the ball. Have a great week.
Be sure to check out our Facebook page, Sports Visions TV Show, or our website, www.sportsvisionsusa.com.